Let's do it. Man. Man.
Some say I'm the voice, give my people hope. I'm the chosen one. Some say I'm the GOAT. This that Holy Ghost, don't you overdose. This that living legend, hands around your fucking throat. Get it? I am a menace, I am the end and the fucking beginning.
Man. What's up, Rap Radio? Lisa, Linda, Port, Felicia. What is up? We here. I'ma give people some time. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know how we do it. I'm gonna give people time to get in here tonight. What's up, Abdul? What's up, Dead Star, Dead Shot? What is up? Hopefully people know. Hold on, let me post to post it to Twitter if it lets me do it smooth. What's up, Malcolm? What's up, Meek? What's up, Jamaican singer? Okay, put it up on Twitter. I made an announcement here. What's up, Miss Cannon? Oh. Oh. She got me thinking about engagement. Switch. Get some Ace Hood going real quick to get me in the mood. Real quick. What's up, Tiny, KG, Xander, FW? I'm gonna give people a little bit more time and we're gonna get started. What's up, Poppy? What's up, Isaac? What's up, Sweet Tea? Gina Regina. What is up? Too tough. What is up? What's up, Michael? What's up, Victoria? I'm gonna give people about 9:05. And we're gonna get it in. Everybody's coming to the room. Y'all hit that like button on your way in. Sensei. I'm on the block like I'm the Kimbe. Don't never shit where your head lay. And they ain't never give a fuck about what a bitch say. I'm trying to see them on the 6 ways. What's up, Black Gems? Joe Var from Cali. What up? Real worth a couple mil. J's cost $200. J-Law, you wild. Let me pause. Let me go ahead and get this. Let's go ahead and jump in this motherfucking thing real quick. I done gave folk enough time. What's up, Brandon? Okay. Y'all let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Everything's clear. Everything's working good. Before we get into this thing, oh man, hold on, Jay. Let me tell you.
I closed it. It's on that Body Bags 4. I want to say that Ace Hood is on that Body Bag 4. I want to say it's that 4. First and foremost, y'all, let me say shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I appreciate all the support, all the love, the messages of encouragement, people ordering t-shirts from me. Mad love to everybody who is supporting, everybody who is just even if it's just as simple as you clicking that motherfucking like button. I really appreciate everything. I appreciate everybody. I really, really do, because I know that doing this shit is not the most popular thing in the world, but I do appreciate the people who actually pay attention to what's being said. Some of you may be privy to, I have been talking about this documentary that I saw come up on Netflix. I saw it come up about 3 days ago, called Who Killed Malcolm X. And it's in 6 parts. I watched it in full. I talked about it briefly just to say people need to watch it, because I wanted everybody to, go and check it out, just to, we all in the same place. We all saw the same shit. I just wanted to make sure everybody was seeing the same exact shit. And then today, when I was able to be at the crib because my truck fucked up, I was able to sit at the crib. I said, well, today gonna be the day where I gave people like 3 days to watch it. So now I get to come in here, and if you haven't seen it yet, then you can go check it out even after you watch this, because I'm gonna be going in a little bit here. It's not really like I'm gonna go through every piece of documentation in it, but we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about what I've been saying about the NOI and its involvement for years. But I'm happy I got the time to come in here today. I'm gonna tell y'all what fucked my day up a little bit though before we get started. I didn't know that you couldn't go up to your kids' school no more and have lunch with them. I went up today because I had the time. I was gonna go eat lunch with my daughter, and she was hype about it. I was gonna go meet, which I already met her friends, but just go, be a representative of a black father. I goes up to the motherfucking school because I thought it was lame, really. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like, I thought it was lame for kids to have their parents up at the all eating lunch with them and shit. I thought that shit was lame because it was lame when I was coming up. But at my daughter's high school here in Charlotte, they was like, nah. They said what you can do is you can have your daughter come up to the office, and they got this little corner in the actual front office. They got this little table and 2 chairs, and y'all can eat up here in the corner. And I said, man, hell no. Nah. Then I asked this black woman up there, I was like, well, why do they, what's going on? She said it's a safety issue. In my head, I'm thinking, safety issue? How many parents done came up there and shot the one with some student or some shit? I'm thinking what this parents coming up here doing? The work, and you can't even eat with your kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here she said, and it shows favoritism. I'm like, favoritism? Okay, I guess parents can't come and won't come, or maybe some shit like that. But I just wanted to show, some black fatherhood going on up there. Because even when I was talking to the black woman, I said, I just came up here to represent really for black fathers. I know we don't be up in these schools like that. And what she said, well, we don't get a lot of black fathers up here at all. I say, I know. This is what I was trying to do, just to be something. And I think that causes envy amongst other children, which is what she was talking about as far as favoritism is concerned. And I'm sitting here like, damn, that's some fucked up ass shit. So I had to wait on my baby. She brought a little homegirl up there. I gave her a hug and a kiss and told her what was going on. I didn't want to separate her from, eating lunch with her friends and shit. So I'm just like, man, that's some bullshit though. Either way, it's some bullshit. Yeah, she changed schools anyway. She's not going to be at this school next year anyway. But I just gave her a hug and a kiss, told her what was going on. And, I even hugged her little homegirl too, because I know her friend, her best friend, she ain't really got no father figure in her life either. So, just trying to just rep for the fathers out here, the black fathers. Just trying to rep, so that fucked my day up a little bit. But I said, well, what I'm gonna do is take that little bit of anger I got right here, and I'm gonna dump it into this motherfucking documentary, because if you saw this documentary, well, first I'm gonna go back. Let me go back to what I had been saying before I even saw this documentary, because Malcolm X is one of the black men who I actually revere. You know, I didn't agree with his religious philosophy, but I did agree with his unapologetic way to, you know, be in the face of white media on TV, and even with interviews. If you see Malcolm in an interview with white folk, that shit make you feel powerful. Like, it's something about the way he went about how he handled these white motherfuckers out here. It's something about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, even now, here we are in so-called 2020. This is videos and interviews and stuff from the 60s. And still, it's very powerful how, and then, you know, we had the movie with Denzel. When Denzel played Malcolm, you know, so we've seen him be depicted. He's like a legend, really. And his life, he wasn't even able to come to his full bloom, because his life was cut short. So, and I always said in my mind, I couldn't fuck with Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, because they were disingenuous about what the fuck's been going on, and what happened during this time. You know, if you watch any interviews with NOI, any of their so-called would-be Muhammad's, I'm actually going to play a small clip from a guy, this Nasir Muhammad or some shit his name is. If you watch these guys talk about it, they always either skating past the point, or they want to implicate, well, it was the white man and we're going to deal with that aspect of it. But they got Farrakhan's dick in their mouth so deep and so far, they can't really have an honest thought about what's going on and how the NOI laid out the red carpet, even if, and this is but a time before I understood what really happened. I said, even if they didn't kill him, even if the white man was responsible, the NOI laid out the red carpet for him to be murdered. They did that shit, and that's before I even saw this shit. And if you can see, I don't know which hand, even on my little mural back here, the guy that made me this mural, I say, man, just send me a whole bunch of pro-black power shit. I think it might be on this side. If you can see the picture of Farrakhan, I got him X the fuck out. Maybe it's right here. I don't know which side. This shit kind of fucking me up a little bit. But if you can see, I know it might be hard for you to see, but anybody come to my house and see this mural, there's a red X through Farrakhan's motherfucking face. That's how I've always felt about him. I didn't want to throw the whole thing away, because it's a dope little, you know, wall art. It's dope. But I always didn't fuck with Farrakhan and his minions and his dick suckers. No matter what he does, they continue to make excuses for him and, you know, honorable, blah, 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 blah. They do all this shit for Farrakhan. So when you hear them talk about Malcolm X, they disrespect Malcolm X. They want to disrespect him because of the information he put out about Elijah Muhammad. Now, hold on, y'all. This was my contention before I even saw this 6-part documentary on Malcolm X. This has been my stance. I don't care what NOI niggas be talking about. I still contend that they lay out the red carpet. They could have protected him. They chose not to. Before I saw this. Now, and now that I saw this, when I was watching this documentary, if anybody watched this shit, what it'll do is make you mad. As I'm watching this thing, and by the time I get to episode 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, well, by the time I'm working my way through this, I'm so fucking upset and I'm so angry. I'm thinking about everything I understand about Malcolm X and everything I understand about his life. I'm thinking about all of that and I'm getting mad. My fucking jaw was sitting here clenched up for at least 4 of the fucking episodes. That's how mad I was. That's how upset I was. That these motherfuckers want to sit around and ignore and make excuses for the NOI and Farrakhan and their part that they played in this bullshit that happened with Malcolm X. It makes me fucking mad. And it made me mad. My jaw was clenched up the whole time. Now, you have this black man. And I'm going to tell y'all, I don't even know this black man's name. I know he's a Muslim. He has dedicated his life to figuring out what happened to and involving the characters that's involved in the assassination of Malcolm X. He's dedicated, I think he said 30 years of his life to doing this research, collecting the data, reading the FBI documents, reading the things that the evidence that the police had surrounding the assassination of Malcolm X, and studying the NOI as well. And this man himself is a practicing Muslim. The man who does this 6-part documentary. He's a practicing Muslim himself. He dedicated his life to going and figuring out what the fuck happened. Now, before I even saw this, again, I had my inclinations about the Nation of Islam. Once I saw it, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not really learning much new, but it just seeing it all put together, it lit a fire in me. Now, I did learn a couple things that were new. Now, I'll tell you what I learned that was new to me. Now, I knew they hated on Malcolm X because he had favoritism with Elijah Muhammad when he got out of prison. I think he did 6 years in prison. That's back when he was Malcolm Little. They was calling him Detroit Red. That's why sometimes you'll see people make memes that will say something to the effect of give people time. They could become Malcolm X as they're now Malcolm Little. You know, you'll see pictures of them side by side, right? And if you saw the movie Malcolm X, it depicts this as well. You'll see this motherfucker running around, being a criminal, breaking into houses, stealing and shit, being a con artist, fucking with white bitches. These white hoes he was fucking with. That's what got him fucked up anyway. Because anytime you doing crime, and it goes out to any motherfucking body, white motherfuckers are some of the biggest snitches in the motherfucking, or the biggest snitches on the planet. They're going to protect themselves. You think you're going to do something with some white hoes, you going to do the time. You going to do that time. I know some of y'all black men be fucking with these so-called hood white bitches, and you think that they gonna ride for you and all that shit. They pull that white card as soon as them cops ask them what the fuck happened. They start crying and talk about how they was coerced into doing whatever the fuck it was that y'all did together. That's what happened. And he did that time. Stay away from these raggedy ass white hoes. That's just a little asterisk, little sidebar, right? Now, once he got out of prison, when he was in prison, he found the Nation, or really the Nation kind of found him. It was a guy preaching to him all the time, and when he got out, he went to meet Elijah Muhammad. They hit it off, and what happened when they hit it off is that the people that were in the Nation, because the Nation wasn't this huge conglomerate at the time. What happened when they hit it off was that the members of the Nation were jealous of Malcolm X. They were hating. Even Elijah Muhammad's children hated on him because Elijah Muhammad showed favoritism towards Malcolm X. Malcolm X had that spark to him. And then he got into doing the public speaking, where he became the speaker for the Nation of Islam. And he held his motherfucking own. If you see interviews, Malcolm held his own. It didn't matter whether he was doing fucking debates up in goddamn on national TV. It didn't matter if he was just speaking to a crowd of black people. Malcolm X held his own at all times. He held his own. That charisma and the fact that he was a very gifted orator catapulted him into the motherfucking spotlight. And of course, one of the things that I find odd about when you deal with the Nation of Islam, and when you hear these motherfuckers acting like they on some other level because they up next to Allah, they doing the work of Allah and all this shit. One of the things that they bow tie, bean pie eating, no pork eating motherfuckers, one thing that they can't get rid of is nigga hate. Ain't that something? These motherfuckers pray 5 times a day, and nigga hate, they can't pray that up out of them. Just regular ass nigga hate. Regular nigga hate. Hating on this man because he's shining. People had issues with Malcolm X then. They're saying that he was wanting to be in front of the cameras too much. And it wasn't until Malcolm became the spokesman for the NOI that the NOI blew and grew up and grew like it did. To having thousands to hundreds of thousands of fucking members of the NOI, because that's what the work Malcolm X was putting in. And as he was growing like this, he was growing motherfucking haters within his organization. Elijah Muhammad's children hated Malcolm X. He was growing haters the whole time. Some of y'all may be familiar with this. Where you'll get into an organization, your light shine a little bit brighter than somebody else's, and nigga hate starts immediately. Nigga hate will start. That's how it works. That's how it happens. And Malcolm X was able to have conversations about politics. That was one of the things that made him shine. He was able to engage in conversations about politics as well as talking about this whole turn the other motherfucking cheek shit. He was not down with that at all. He was into defending yourself, which is one of the things that he would call the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching him, because Elijah Muhammad was like a father figure to Malcolm. Malcolm X's father was killed when he was a young boy by the Ku Klux Klan. This group of terrorists that never makes any really FBI list. They're not trying to infiltrate and break down all. No, they just made them change clothes. That's all they did to the Ku Klux Klan. Like, y'all need to just, hey, yeah, take that. Don't wear that. Put on your formal. Yeah, put on your formal clothes. We'll let y'all infiltrate, so-called infiltrate, bitches already racist as fuck, but we'll let y'all infiltrate the police, and, you know, they wasn't concerned. All these murders that these motherfuckers have committed and lynches that they've committed, nobody's really brought to justice. So-called justice. Because we understand in America Incorporated, there is no such thing as justice for a black man, woman, or child. We understand that. At least you should by now. But Elijah Muhammad was a father figure to Malcolm X. Malcolm X revered Elijah Muhammad. But as Malcolm grew, as the Nation of Islam grew, as the threat grew, because Malcolm X was the threat. Understand, Malcolm X was the threat. When FBI, J. Edgar Hoover's old bitch ass, when the J. Edgar Hoover and the NYPD had been tapping the phones of Elijah Muhammad, they started keeping tabs on Malcolm X because they were scared that Malcolm X could be that black messiah that they feared. Again, I'm not going to go into all the documents with y'all. If you want to study the COINTELPRO documents, they are here. They're open, public record. Malcolm X was one of the motherfuckers they were scared of, because he had the power to galvanize black people to stand up for themselves and not keep turning the other motherfucking cheek. That's the power that he had. Because he spoke in a way that was very convicting and had people wanting to join. He was opening up mosques all over the nation. How could you have somebody doing this type of work for you and you sitting around motherfucking hating? What they say is that the Nation of Islam, what it did was change people's lives. It took drug dealers and gangbangers and former criminals, and it gave them something to follow, a code of conduct, essentially. And Malcolm X was able to take his charisma that he had, and use that to galvanize and attract people. But as he's doing this work, motherfucker was getting in Elijah Muhammad's ear, telling Elijah Muhammad that Malcolm X was trying to supersede him because he was in front of cameras. So you got nigga hate, and you got Elijah Muhammad, who claimed, he getting his shit directly from, he the source. He is the motherfucking source. He is the prophet. So how you gonna be self-proclaiming yourself a prophet and nigga hate is running all through you? And as they go through this documentary and they chronicle how much he grew, and they chronicle what led up to it, you will find out that the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad grew to hate Malcolm X, despise Malcolm X because of his power. And I mean, you can remember a scene in a movie from the Malcolm X movie. They say one man shouldn't have all this power, or something to that effect. How can one man have all this power? You remember that scene when he put his hand up and he did a point and the whole team just marched out? Because the Nation of Islam had a militant, like a militant style of formation that they used to get in. And actually the militant branch of the Nation of Islam, was the FOI, the Fruits of Islam. These were the motherfuckers that was, if somebody needed to be touched up, it was the FOI that did that work. It was the FOI that put that work in. Now, what Malcolm X fucked up, and I'm going to show you how the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad, this is where Malcolm X fucked up. And this is what caused the rip between him and the real rip between him and Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm X, when JFK was assassinated, and you know that Malcolm X was banging on JFK. JFK was not one of them. I know black people look at him as like he was a president for black people. Malcolm X didn't look at that motherfucker like that. He was like, look, it seems to me that JFK, if he actually gave a fuck, would send some help down here while black people getting dog sicked on them, hoes sicked on them, and these motherfucking cops, these goddamn pigs out here, brutalizing black people. If JFK gave a fuck, he would send some goddamn aid down here to help. Malcolm didn't fuck with him like that. Upon him being assassinated, they told Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, he's supposed to do a speech. He say, I'll let you do the speech if you don't mention JFK at all. Because one thing about the Nation of Islam, they wanted to talk about, standing up for themselves and banging on the system, but they weren't really about that life. They were into appeasing the system because Elijah Muhammad didn't want to go to war with the police. And Malcolm X's ideology was like, well, why not? They going to war on us. You got me up here spitting this fire and motherfucking brimstone. I'm banging out here every day and y'all ain't ready to bang? I can see how that could be confusing to Malcolm X because he thought that this shit was real. He thought that the nation was about standing against the oppressive system, but what he had to find out, and was sadly he had to find out the hard way, was that these motherfuckers wanted to tiptoe to make it within the government. The NOI did not want any smoke with the police department. That's what Malcolm had it fucked up. We're gonna talk about a couple of things that Malcolm had fucked up here, and what caused what caused things to trickle down like they did. Malcolm had some things fucked up because he thought the nation was about that life. They're not really about that life. They're into getting along with the system, playing their position within the system, so the system don't really fuck with them like that. That's where they was at with it. Malcolm fucked up whenever JFK got assassinated. He gave a speech. At the end of the speech, somebody asked him a question about how he felt about JFK being assassinated. And Malcolm said, well, basically, the white man been running around out here doing all types of shit. The chickens done came home to roost, goddammit. Reciprocity, goddammit. Basically, again, he didn't really talk like this, but that's what he did. When he said the chickens came home to roost, now you would think the Nation of Islam would be like, well, shit, yeah, chickens came home to roost. But they did not, because Elijah Muhammad said people love JFK, and we don't want to make them motherfuckers mad at us. Malcolm said the chickens came home to motherfucking roost. Who gives a fuck? He got popped off in the streets. Black people out here getting killed every goddamn day. Nobody gives a fuck. Why we gonna give a fuck about this one special ass because he a goddamn president? He just a man. He can get popped out here in the streets like everybody else. That made him mad. Malcolm disobeyed direct orders. He wasn't supposed to speak at all. He was supposed to let that shit go. Malcolm couldn't help himself. He probably so convicted within him. I'm sure that fire burned in him so goddamn just intense that he couldn't even hold it in, even though they told him to hold it in, right? Once he did that, Elijah Muhammad said, come on over, okay, we're going to sit your ass down. We're going to suspend you from, you're not doing no more speaking events at all. You're not doing no speaking events. We're going to put your ass on suspension. Because it was all in the newspapers running how Malcolm X was happy that the white man got killed and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, but the white media don't give a fuck about black people being brutalized every single day. Why the fuck would I care about one white man who got popped off by one of his? Not one of ours. One of his popped him off. So they told him to sit down. They told Malcolm to have a seat. And he did what he was supposed to do. He had a seat. He had a motherfucking seat. During this time, during this suspension, was when he went on his pilgrimage. This is when he went on his pilgrimage. Now understand, throughout all of this, the FBI and the CIA, they own Malcolm. The NYPD, they own Malcolm. They're following him everywhere he goes. Got wiretapping his phones. They are on him everywhere he goes, shadowing him. Because he's a threat. He's that much of a threat. So they're shadowing him everywhere he goes. So even when he goes on his pilgrimage, they're on him. Following him. Now Malcolm was able to go over and talk to world leaders from all over. He was starting his own, he wanted to branch out and start his own movement. Because he started finding out shit that he didn't agree with. He started finding out some shit about Elijah Muhammad that he did not agree with. So he went to go start his own thing. And Malcolm X had his own group of followers. And he decided that he would work with everyone. He didn't, what he developed, and he probably didn't, I don't know, if there was a term for it back in the day, but what you will hear now is people say Pan-African. That's the mindset Malcolm X was developing. A Pan-African mindset. You don't even gotta be you don't even gotta be Muslim, Islam. You ain't gotta be none of that shit. Long as you black and you are down to take down this oppressive ass system and liberate the minds of black people, I can fuck with you. I can work with you. I may not agree with your ideologies, but we catching the same hell. It doesn't matter whether you Christian, Islam, you know. It don't matter, you Israel, I use some of y'all example now, more indigenous, you catching the same hell. So Malcolm, if you down to take down this motherfucking system and liberate the minds of black people, I fuck with you. It was the time after he did his pilgrimage, after he was on suspension, that he even apologized to Martin Luther King. He apologized. He said, well, look, man, I know I done said some fucked up shit about you. And you done said some fucked up shit about me. But it's cool. We need to work together to liberate the minds of black people. It don't matter that you are a Christian. And that turn the other cheek shit is trash. But we can still work together to liberate the minds of people. This is when Malcolm became the biggest threat to the government ever. The hugest threat to the government was when he decided, because the box of the Nation of Islam, it kept him within the certain, he was constrained in this box. When he starts saying, well, I'll work with, again, he's doing interviews with world leaders over in Africa. This is when Malcolm X became the biggest threat to the government, because they thought this shit was strong. What Malcolm was trying to pull off, what he was working on, was more powerful than anything they was even going to be able to even fathom in their motherfucking minds. That's what he was working on. That's when he became the biggest threat to them then. because he was trying to unite with black people all over the place. And to the NOI, these motherfuckers still over there hating. Still hating. The whole time, they are still motherfucking hating. Now, during this time, Malcolm X, he was living in a house. A house paid for by the NOI. Which he earned. I mean, he's been doing speeches and shit for him for 12 years, brought all these members in. He earned the house. Because they were mad about what Malcolm had going on. And the jealousy was running so thick. They firebombed his house with his children in there. Now listen, because at first they were trying to kick him out of his house anyway. But they firebombed his house while his children were inside the house. Malcolm got his children out and his wife out safely. Respect to Betty Shabazz. We can go back to her in a little bit. Because Malcolm had said if there was going to be threats made on his life, if attempts was going to be made on his life, he knew who was going to do it. He knew who was behind it. He knew how they rolled. They done start printing the newspaper having Malcolm X's head being cut off and all types of little shit. What y'all call shade now. They were setting the stage for dissension because Malcolm had his own thing going. Still going around doing speeches, still prolific. But he was still trying to get back in good with Elijah Muhammad. And Elijah Muhammad broke his fucking heart. This is the time when Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X, they were hanging out. And Malcolm X thought, well, if I could get Muhammad Ali to be down and give his allegiance to Elijah Muhammad, then maybe they would be cool with me. I'm going back before he got his house firebombed. I don't want to get out of the sequence of events, but it was just a lot. But once Malcolm realized that they was never going to take him back in the nation, and even Muhammad Ali turned his back on Malcolm X. Actually, Muhammad Ali has came out and said that's one of his greatest mistakes that he ever made, was him turning his back on Malcolm X. But once Malcolm realized that the nation was never going to take him back, he was like, all right, fuck it, I'm out. Right? I'm out, but he still lived in the house. And this is when they firebombed the house. And then they're going to turn around and say that, well, he basically did it for a publicity stunt. They're going to say, the nation going to sit here and say that Malcolm X firebombed his own house for publicity. How the fuck does Malcolm X now? We talking about Malcolm X. Why would he need publicity? Why would he have to do shit like that for publicity? To be stunting. Them motherfuckers at that moment, them motherfuckers were disingenuous as fuck then. They was already not worth a fuck. Being regular jealous. As you have a religious cult that you've dedicated your life to on some Allah shit, praying 5 times a day, you still got nigga hate in your motherfucking heart for this man who goddamn changed the landscape for the Nation of Islam here in America. You still got nigga hate in your heart. Y'all gonna say he did that to himself? They didn't even implicate the white man. Their mortal enemy. You listen to them, they didn't even implicate the white devil. They say Malcolm did that shit himself. Malcolm was like, what? How the fuck? I'm Malcolm X. My name rang bells in these streets. And I gotta do shit like that? Put my kids' lives in danger? And my wife for attention? This is the point where I believe it is in my belief that this broke Malcolm X's heart. I think once this happened, this broke his heart. And at this point, all bets was off. All bets was off. I think this event right here is what broke his heart, and all bets were off. Because how the fuck they gonna know me as the man they know me as And they're going to say I would do this to myself. This broke Malcolm's heart. And this is when he came out and said, okay, all right, motherfuckers, if I did this shit to myself, well, how about your boy up there, Elijah Muhammad, running around here fucking all these young girls and getting them pregnant? Oh, while he got a wife, he running around here going ham with young girls. I think that was his melting point. He was like, I can imagine being that mad, having that information and being that mad. Like, okay, motherfuckers, you bombed my house with my kids in it, bitch. Well, I'm going to tell these motherfuckers the truth about what the fuck you got going on. Fucking with these young girls and you 1,000 years old. Talking about you a goddamn messenger. You a prophet. You fake ass, bitch ass nigga. Now, Malcolm didn't talk like that. He should have. You hoe ass motherfucker. And the niggas that roll with you. God damn it. Because they were still hating on Malcolm. And then when this information came out, when Malcolm dropped this information, here's the mistake that Malcolm made. Here's what Malcolm thought. Malcolm thought this information would be important. He thought he was exposing him. He thought he was exposing Elijah Muhammad. But what he didn't understand was because he lived that book. He lived the Quran. He lived that life for real. So he thought everybody would be as convicted as he was, and everybody would also be disappointed as he was upon finding out this information. What Malcolm learned the hard way was that the members of the Nation of Islam did not give a fuck. Even in this documentary, when they talked about this part, when he exposed this part, the people in the Nation of Islam didn't give a fuck. They was like, well, I mean, he fucking young girls, but he looked out for me. And this is at the time the Nation of Islam bringing in millions of dollars. Stunting, just like any other religion. Stunting with the money. Elijah Muhammad's kids, his older children that were in the nation, they tricking the money off. Out here just buying elaborate shit. Like any other religions. Taking in all this money, spending that money on himself. Spending that money on his hoes. You see? This is what he was doing. Meanwhile, Malcolm X was broke as fuck. And see, these days you'll have people who shame people who don't have money. People who see the cause as being something more important than it being for sale. Malcolm X didn't even have the money. When they bombed on his house, that left him homeless. Him, his children, and his wife were left homeless. The Nation of Islam did not look out for him. Now we shame people who don't have as much money as somebody else. Some of y'all following behind people who brag about their money, make fun of other black people who don't have the money. Malcolm X didn't have the money like that. After they bombed on his house, he was homeless. He did all this work. This is 12 years in the game. He been banging for the NOI. And that man didn't have no money. Because he didn't care about that shit. He was about the message. And I feel like all this is what broke his heart because he thought this shit was real. And then, y'all don't give a fuck this man out here fucking with kids? Y'all don't care about that? He thought they would. All that did was make them want to kill him. That's all it did. And even if you watch this shit, even if you watch it, you'll see Elijah Muhammad and these little bitch-ass NOI motherfuckers running around talking about, well, Elijah Muhammad always said don't touch him or don't do nothing to him. That's bullshit. Because they know that Elijah Muhammad had the power so he didn't have to give a direct order to kill anybody. He was the type of boss, because these motherfuckers was brainwashed from following him behind Elijah Muhammad. He had the type of power that he could sit there and say some shit like, man, Malcolm sure is giving me a fucking headache. And these bitch ass motherfuckers will be quick to try to figure out, well, how the fuck can I get rid of the headache for Elijah Muhammad? It's giving Elijah Muhammad a headache. He didn't have to give direct orders. He planted the seeds. He didn't have to give the order. He planted the seeds, created that environment. Because Malcolm started coming out saying Elijah Muhammad was senile, losing his motherfucking mind, listening to these little dumbass. And he had an informant right there, FBI, an informant in there with him, giving him advice. The guy actually interviews this informant in this documentary. The motherfucker old as hell now. But he said, shit, Elijah Muhammad didn't give a fuck about informants. He would let informants be in that motherfucker, basically. He didn't care. He didn't care that they was co-opted. Had this motherfucker in his ear and everything. This motherfucker was going to report back to the feds. Co-opted. Malcolm X's bodyguard. Informant. For the feds. These motherfuckers didn't work directly in the feds. And this is a piece of the information that I learned by watching this. They didn't work necessarily for the FBI, but the FBI would just use them. They had a guy on here, a white man. They actually interviewed a lot of people during this, documentary that talked about how they would get these motherfuckers to be informants. Not on the payroll. Just inform. That's it. Inform. Infiltrate. Work your way up. Inform. And that was one of the people that was directly in Elijah Muhammad's circle was with the feds. Old black man. And even when you hear him talk now, that motherfucker make you sick to your motherfucking stomach. Because he has no love. The motherfuckers that they interviewed in this shit, no love, man. No love. Malcolm X. Malcolm X he's preparing to give his speech at the Autobahn. Now, several things are fishy with this situation before Malcolm even went up there, and I wish that there would have been somebody there to tell him to grab him, tie the motherfucker to a damn chair. Malcolm, ain't no fucking cops up here. Every other lecture is when you see them playing footage of Malcolm X giving speeches, you'll see cops every goddamn where. They had cops following this man, whole goddamn task force dedicated to following this man, cops everywhere. But when he goes to give this speech, where they're saying that he was going to come out here and really just open it all the way up on the NOI. No cops nowhere to be found. Nobody checking motherfuckers at the door. It was said that the Nation of Islam had actually rented out the Autobahn so they could go in there and practice the assassination hit prior to. This is information I knew, and I learned this beforehand. But see, I was always under the assumption that it was the feds that was kind of dressed up as the Nation of Islam that did the shit. Oh, how wrong I have been. But I wish somebody would have stopped him. Because he had a bad feeling about the shit too. No security. The motherfucker that's his bodyguard, he worked for the feds. So of course, because the feds facilitated the hit, they wanted to take Malcolm out. Fear of a black messiah is in the documents of COINTELPRO. It's in there. The same reason they took out Fred Hampton. If you want, to draw a line. So the feds were okay with, they actually were going to be okay with the hit. The NOI was also okay with the hit. So when motherfuckers want to sit here and tell me that it was the white man, no, motherfucker, it was both you bitches, and I'm tired of these NOI motherfuckers coming out here acting like it was just a white man acting alone. It was just the government acting alone. No, they used you. I didn't know it was directly NOI members that murdered Brother Malcolm X, that assassinated Malcolm X. I thought they were informants at best. I didn't know they were practicing Muslims. They were in the NOI, just not in Harlem. They said it was 3. They found one of the after they because again they did the whole get your hand out of my pocket. They set this whole thing up, make a distraction, throw a smoke bomb, dude with a shotgun blows Malcolm X in the chest, and then they just open fire on him, kill him right there in front of his wife and kids. The guy that had the 45, he runs up out of the Autobahn. People started trying to beat the shit out of him, gonna beat his ass. The bitch ass federal informant gonna try to give Malcolm X mouth to mouth like he drowning. Like that shit made me so fuck. When I tell y'all I was mad as fuck just sitting here as they going through every goddamn thing, it's just like somebody should have saw something wrong with that. You don't give nobody mouth to mouth if they got shot with a shotgun in the chest. You put pressure on the goddamn wounds. That's what you do. Now I don't think that would have necessarily saved Malcolm's life. But this whole situation wasn't set up to save Malcolm's life at all. And that's the goddamn feds, the goddamn CIA, and the motherfucking nation. Everybody had a vested interest in getting Malcolm X killed. The feds, because of the power this man grew to have, even as he's working across the aisle with other black people, and the motherfucking nation from being regular ass, bitch ass haters that was mad that he exposed Elijah Muhammad for being a goddamn pedophile, having kids with these young girls. And Malcolm started his own branch, and they were scared they were going to lose numbers because they knew motherfuckers would follow Malcolm. They knew it. Because Elijah Muhammad couldn't fucking speak. Have you heard him talk? Have you ever heard Elijah Muhammad talk? That motherfucker can't talk. He can't speak fluently. He couldn't speak fluently. It was an old ass man. That motherfucker couldn't talk. Sound like he wasn't even from around here. And this motherfucker was from the South. I couldn't even tell where the fuck he was from. That motherfucker, you faking an accent? Like, what the fuck? Why the fuck you? I would like to, like, nigga, you from around here? Like, what the fuck? Sound like goddamn Gandhi or somebody. Like, motherfucker, you from around here? Like, why didn't nobody say nothing to him? Like, nigga, you're not from there, though. I don't know why nobody questioned that at first. I would have been questioning that shit immediately. Like, nigga, you from the South, you live in Chicago, or live in you got mosque over there in Chicago. They do have mosque over there in Chicago, but you up here in New York and shit like that. Like, nigga, why you what's the accent? Is that Allah? He did with the. He gave you the accent too, like. Okay, I was just checking, right? So they catch one of the gunmen outside. Y'all stop laughing. It's not. But does anybody ever wonder that? Like, it's like, what? Why do he sound like that? You from here? Like, stop playing. But they caught the one guy that had the 45. Right? Cops catch him. Initially they said it was 4 assailants. The NYPD set it on 3. They went and found 2 black men who had nothing to do with anything. They weren't even there. They had some, like small little, I want to call it beef, but it wasn't real beef. But they were nowhere around the Autobahn when this shit took place. They just went and arrested 2 black men. These black men did this time. They all were, because of their alibis didn't matter. This is all information that was hidden. These were basically fall guys. If you understand the concept of a fall guy, these 2 men, now the black guy that got caught with the Colt 45, he really was with the shits. The 2 black men they went and picked up later on as they called themselves searching for Malcolm X's killer, which if you look at this shit, you'll see they didn't really search for a killer. They didn't really try to find a motherfucking killer, and the goddamn NOI. These bitch ass motherfuckers did not do anything to bring the proper people to justice because they were in on the shit. So they had no interest in it at all. At all. Lock up 2 innocent black men, along with the guilty black man. And the guilty black man told him, like, look, these guys didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't give a fuck that he said that these 2 guys didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't give a fuck that these 2 guys said they were innocent. They didn't give a fuck that these 2 guys had alibis. They still locked them up for over 20 years. Still locked them up over 20 years. One of them died in prison. One of them is still alive right now. One of them is actually out. Got out. And those 20 years caused him to lose his family. The Nation of Islam didn't give a fuck. These were, 2 innocent black men. Y'all supposed to care about black men. They didn't give a fuck that these 2 innocent black men were going down for a crime that they know who committed it. It was 5 assailants. They caught 1. 4 were still running motherfucking free out here in the goddamn streets. They didn't come from Harlem. This was where, again, this is the part I had wrong. I didn't know these were practicing Muslims. They came from New Jersey in Newark. Mosque number 25, if I'm not mistaken. I could have that number off. They know who did it. The man who actually killed Malcolm X, because the shotgun shot is the one what killed him. This motherfucker was from Newark, New Jersey. At the mosque down there. And they knew that shit. If you watch this motherfucking documentary, this is the point where your blood start boiling even more. Even as you watch them hate on the motherfucking Malcolm X and his whole motherfucking life and firebomb his motherfucking house with his kids inside of it. When you find out and you see how they set this whole shit up. And you see that these motherfuckers knew exactly who did it. And they didn't do shit about it. They let 2 black men rot in prison for the motherfucking crime. They had nothing to do with it. That'll make your motherfucking blood boil even more. That's what it did for mine. And then you got these raggedy bitch ass motherfuckers running around here want to tell everybody that that was the white man. It was the CIA. Yeah? But who else, motherfucker? Who else was it? Y'all not gonna keep running around here telling these motherfucking lies like this. Tell the truth. And that's what's caused me to have this problem with the NOIs, because of the lies that they continue to tell and make you feel like you ain't shit whenever you bring the goddamn truth up. They don't want no parts. 5 of the FOI members from the mosque out in Newark, New Jersey. The motherfucker that actually killed Malcolm X lived his motherfucking life. They even brought Cory Booker in. This guy became a pillar in the community. The guy that actually murdered Malcolm X with the shotgun. He became a pillar in the motherfucking community. Opened up boxing rings and shit like that for kids to come in and, kind of have a haven for the kids. Lived his life. Malcolm dead. 2 black men's lives destroyed. This motherfucker lived his life. And the Nation of Islam knew he did it. Knew who did it. Like, come on, man. Y'all know who did it? And y'all don't do nothing. And if you know anything about the Nation of Islam and you know anything about the fruits of Islam, these motherfuckers are about that life. They about that smoke. They will beat your ass if you didn't sell enough bean pies and goddamn newspapers outside. They say they were, even on this documentary, talking about motherfucker being touched up for not selling enough motherfucking newspapers. So you touching motherfuckers up for not selling the stupid ass newspapers. But y'all let a motherfucker ride and you know he murdered Malcolm X? Even after Elijah Muhammad supposedly said don't touch Malcolm X? According to y'all, wouldn't nobody touch Malcolm X because everybody revered Elijah Muhammad and they wouldn't do anything against Elijah Muhammad. Y'all will beat a motherfucker's ass for not selling them goddamn bean pies and newspapers, but somebody can come in here and murder Malcolm X and you know it's him and you know where he at. You know the people who did it and y'all don't do anything. You let 2 men take the fall. You don't even take care of their motherfucking families. You don't even take care of their families. You don't even got sense enough to do that. Because at least we know a fall guy, the rules of the hood is a fall guy. At least you take care of his fucking family. And you take care of his motherfucking commissary and every goddamn thing. That's what you do. They didn't do shit. But keep on rolling. Boy, listen. When I tell y'all that I was hot, I'm hot right now thinking about it. I'm hot right now talking about it. And then I had this motherfucking, this boy, this Nuri Muhammad. He went on the Breakfast Club not too long ago. I'll look at the exact time. Let me tell you why I don't fuck with these motherfuckers. And this is exactly why I don't fuck with these motherfuckers. This was December 2019. Now he was mad about the Godfather of Harlem. You had this bitch ass motherfucker get his dumb ass. Well, he's not dumb. I won't call the motherfucker dumb. That's one I can't. I won't go, but I ain't gonna go too far. But let me just say this. I won't call him dumb because these be some smart brothers. But he is a bitch. And if he's supposed to be this smart, it's still their intelligence is shadowed because Farrakhan's dick is shoved so far in their fucking mouth that they can't really think for themselves. They can only think to a certain point. But then, Farrakhan dick in their mouth, they can't really get anything out. Because these ain't dumb motherfuckers. But they act like kids when it comes to the Quran, Elijah Muhammad, and motherfucking Farrakhan. This man gets on here, he mad about the Godfather of Harlem. That's what he mad about. On the Godfather of Harlem, if you watch any of that show, they have a character on it that depicts Malcolm X. You got Forrest Whitaker playing Bumpy Johnson's character. On the Godfather of Harlem, it depicts the NOI. It shows them being in cahoots and being okay with Malcolm X being murdered, assassinated. It shows them in that light. So he gets his ass on here, on the Breakfast Club, and Nuri says, he starts talking about the documents and how the white man do, and he just gonna say anything and all this shit. They like to try to spin it off and say, well, it was the white man. It was. But guess who worked for the white man? The NOI. Do your motherfucking history. If you so smart, and these motherfuckers be smart, they'll say a whole bunch of words real fast. They can have full documents right there. Just like that. They can go through full government documents. But this part, though, eludes these motherfuckers. This part eludes them. This is back when, and then, this is when Farrakhan was young. Now, one thing this documentary didn't do was they didn't talk about Farrakhan at all. They didn't mention Farrakhan at all. What they did show was a bunch of these NOI members, older. It's like, man, let's just let this thing go. We know who did it. And, it's over now, really. Because the black man that's doing the documentary, he wants justice. And he's mad that the motherfucker that actually killed Malcolm X is dead. The four assailants, they dead. According to the affidavit he got from the guy who was actually, that actually had the 45 the guy's doing the time right now. They all dead. This guy's mad. Nuri gets on here and says that he mad about how the Godfather of Harlem depicted them, but they say that the white man just do that for dramatization. No, motherfucker. They was telling the truth. And then he goes on this motherfucker to say one of the most disrespectful things I ever heard. He said he does not like for Malcolm X to be called a defector. He said because Elijah Muhammad, just like he made Malcolm X, he could just make another one. And what he said, Elijah Muhammad made a better version of Malcolm X with Louis Farrakhan. I wanted to grab this motherfucker by his goddamn bow tie and just shake the shit out of him. Like, seriously. Malcolm X, and even in his short time, was the greatest NOI member of all time. Period. Because you know what? When the government came to try to draft Malcolm X, he said, fuck y'all, I would never give y'all information. And this is even after they done firebombed his house, even after the NOI turned on him. He still said, motherfucker, you can get the fuck out of here. He recorded the conversation. Some of you have actually heard the tape. He said, man, look, y'all can get the fuck out of here. I would never work for y'all. But guess what Farrakhan do? Y'all know what Farrakhan do? Farrakhan will endorse Scientology, work with the feds, all to be kept safe, all to be secure. He may say some fiery shit on TV, but it's called controlled opposition. And ever since Malcolm X went down, that's what the fuck the NOI has been. Controlled opposition. Sound good, don't it? You got thugs out here that's willing to go beat other black men's ass for not selling newspapers, but ain't doing shit to the motherfucking cops, which is one of the problems Malcolm X had. This is one of the things that broke Malcolm X's heart. He thought that motherfuckers was about that life. He thought they was about liberating black people. No, they're not. They want to push that little silly ass religion given to them by their slave master, the Arab. The Arab. Yeah, that's where they got it from. In case you didn't know, they still over there enslaving black people as we speak. You don't hear much about Farrakhan talking about that though, do you? Okay, right. Exactly, right. They want to push that little dumbass religion and make money like every other religion out here. That's it. That is all. Not really bang. Because that's what Malcolm X was about. He was really about that. And that's why he had to get the fuck up out of there and try to start his own shit. And that's why these motherfuckers hated on him so heavily. And I want to see what the fuck these bow tie ass goddamn Nation of Islam motherfuckers gonna be saying after they see this shit. Because now you can implicate the white man all you want to, but you also must implicate the Nation of Islam. You also must implicate Elijah Muhammad. You must implicate all these motherfuckers. You don't have a choice. You have to take Farrakhan's dick out of your mouth. I understand. That's gonna be tough for some of y'all. But these smart motherfuckers, they claim they so smart, so well-read, and all this stuff. They try to make you feel like you a dumb motherfucker. And if you just read the Quran, you'll get this, 5th, 6th level dimension intelligence that I got, and you'll be able to talk fast as hell too. But let's hear what these motherfuckers have to say after this, because now that this has came out, they want to reopen the investigation on Malcolm X's assassination. But one thing we must know about them reopening that investigation, if all the assassins or the assailants that did the crime are dead, we know the government is not going to prosecute and imprison itself. We know that. So there's no reason to even get excited about that part. There's no reason to get excited about that. None. The government will never implicate itself, even though y'all seen they was found guilty of assassinating MLK in 1999. Who went to prison? They're not going to implicate themselves. They're not going to imprison themselves. So I think that is a waste. But what it does is it brings this conversation back up, because when this man did this documentary, he has the paperwork. This guy gets on here talking about we live in a Google era and nobody want to read. The documents are there, motherfucker. Y'all gonna have to do better than that. The NOI is real good at insulting people's intelligence. They've mastered that. If I insult people's intelligence enough, make them feel like they dumb, then they'll think what they know they really don't know. Because the NOI has done so much in changing lives and things like that. Louis Farrakhan was disingenuous about this shit. The NOI has been disingenuous about exactly what went on here. They knew. And one of the things I didn't like on this documentary, they had Sean King on there talking. Why is Sean King? What the fuck is this white man doing in here? Sean King was on there. I didn't understand that. Cory Booker was on there because they had Cory Booker on there because of him being the governor or mayor of one in New Jersey, and he knew the motherfucker that the shotgun, the killer of Malcolm X. Cory Booker knew him as a community, activist and leader and things like that. Cory Booker knew him. He had Cory Booker on there speaking too, and they had Al Sharpton on there. That's one of the things I was sitting there like, what the fuck is Al Sharpton doing on here? Al Sharpton has done said he's a goddamn informant. He done came out and said it. Informant. Controlled opposition. Him and Jesse motherfucking Jackson. Jesse Jackson went on there, but Jesse in the same group with him. But even Al Sharpton came on. He said it like a little bit. He didn't say a whole lot. And Sean King didn't really say a whole lot, but it was like, what is he even doing here? What is he even doing here? But now the question is, for the NOI, what are y'all going to say to spin this off? And I had a couple of Muslims, even when I was talking about this shit, a couple of these guys came and said, well, it's on Netflix, so that's the white man, so the white man lying. Y'all can't keep saying the white man is lying. Meanwhile, your leader is laying in bed with Scientologists. White men, motherfucker. Racist white men at that. The fuck you mean? What the fuck you talking about? See, the Jedi shit don't work. It ain't gonna work on me. It might work on these motherfuckers out here. But you're not going to sit here and talk about the white man while your leader is laying in bed with Scientologists. That makes no sense. How do you explain that? Do you know who started Scientology? You fast talking, bean pie eating, bow tie wearing, bitch ass motherfucker. Do you know who started Scientology? A white man. A crazy one at that. A racist, crazy ass white man started that. And your leader is in bed with them. The white man. And his mama. That y'all keep still leaving out. Maybe they leave his mama because Farrakhan's son is married to a white hoe. So maybe that's why, because Farrakhan's son is laying in the goddamn caves, maybe that's why they leave the white man, maybe that's why they leave his mama off. I don't know. Because they don't want to talk about that either. So that's another one of those things that, as long as Farrakhan come out every so often, do his justice or else, and then we say, well, or else what? And he be like, man, y'all worried about too much shit. And it's like, what? What, wait, what? They'll try to trick you into believing you don't know what you know. They slick like that. Because they use the Quran and will talk about, you know, their religion. They put everything into that shit. One of the things that I disagree, as much as I revere Malcolm X, I wish he wouldn't have been in that mindset. And I'm thinking that if he'd had a chance to live long enough, he might have would have put that shit down. And understand that the only religion black people need, the only religion, the only rules and codes of conduct that we're supposed to have is that of to be pro-black and liberate our people by any means necessary. Not because of no rules and no book that no one is going to follow. No one can follow the rules in these books in totality. This is not real shit. We don't need religion. We don't need that. Because these bitch-ass motherfuckers play 5 times a day and they still had time to hate on Malcolm X. The prophet himself running around all up in this young pussy. I mean, come on. Stealing money, getting money. Come on. Nobody's doing this. Ain't nobody doing that shit for real. None of these religions. And that's why you have so many what we would call hypocrites out here. That's because that shit ain't for man. That's not for us. We need to have one code. The liberation of the black mind all over the motherfucking planet. We have one clear enemy. We don't have to create him. He don't have to be no devil and all. He don't really have to be all that. Well, the motherfucker's doing what he's doing. That's all we need to recognize. He's doing what he's doing, and we out here doing this. I don't need a fucking bow tie on, eat no bean pies. These motherfuckers eat clean and all this shit. Motherfucker, you don't eat the pig, but you're still a hater. How? That doesn't even make any sense. You clean? You a clean vessel? And you still a regular nigga hater. That's all y'all was towards Malcolm X. And nobody wants to deal with it. They disrespect Malcolm X every time he brought up. But when I get on the fucking high horse, this motherfucker, when I'm watching him do this talk, he's like, well, you know, we walk a certain way. We hold ourselves upright. He was mad at the guy in the Godfather of Harlem, the Malcolm X in there, had a little... He said his back was slouching when he was walking. He said, we walk with our back straight up. You still a nigga hater, motherfucker. And you too dumb to see what the fuck going on because Farrakhan's dick in your mouth. You talking about your posture. These motherfuckers will try to make you feel like you ain't worth a damn. And look at them. I mean, look at you, man. You sitting here and he went in on Malcolm X. Disrespected everything about Malcolm X. Said the white man is the one who killed not actual mosque members in Newark, New Jersey, mosque number 25, actual members of the NOI. What really was the FOI was the part of the Fruits of Islam. This was the militant branch of the NOI. It was them. They still won't come out here and say that. They still lying about that. And still hate Malcolm X because he exposed Elijah Muhammad for fucking with these young girls and being a fucking hypocrite. Malcolm made a fucking mistake. He thought these motherfuckers gonna be living by that book. And when nobody trying to live by that book but him. That's where he fucked up. And he thought these people had a code. They didn't have a code. So when these bitch ass NOI, I'm going to get to y'all's comments here in 1 second. I'm just going to say this. And I'm going to read some of y'all's comments. And we're going to keep the conversation here, though. I want to stay here. We're going to get to some of y'all's comments in a second. But I want to say this. The people who are parts of the Nation of Islam, who suck in Farrakhan's dick every single day. Every day. All day. When are they going to come out here? Because they talk about everything else. Everything else that's happening, these NOI motherfuckers, they up on it. All current events. I want to see what they have to say about this. Are they going to be real now? And stop acting like everybody's been tripping, because I wasn't the only one that's been making comments talking about how the NOI laid out the red carpet for Malcolm X to be killed. I haven't been the only one saying that shit. It wasn't just me. They just made everybody feel like they was fucking dumb. That's what they did. And even Malcolm X's daughters have came out and, you know, they kind of, I think Farrakhan made some apology to them. And it's just like, the daughters were cool. They daddy wasn't here long enough. I think if he'd have been here long enough to influence them, then they would have been a different type of woman. Because they're not really strong in this shit either. His daughter's not really strong in this shit, honestly. But Betty Shabazz, she stood strong. She knew. She said, and I remember and something she said, even in this documentary, she said, well, they said he bombed his own house. I guess they're going to turn around and say he shot himself too. I wish somebody would have told Malcolm. No security here. They had two. NYPD was complacent on this shit too. So we got the NYPD, FBI, CIA, and the Nation of Islam. Everybody wanted him dead. Will the NOI, their young members, their young vocal members, will they come out here and do their videos and talk their shit about this documentary? They can say Netflix did it so they're a white man, but I'm not buying that shit. And that's not going to be enough. Will you be real now? Will y'all be real or not? That's going to be the question I have for them. Now, I'm going to get into some of y'all's comments here. I was going to play the clip by this Nuri Muhammad, but I don't even want to fucking play. I don't even want to hear his fucking mouth. How condescending these motherfuckers be talking like they just the shit. Like, man, sit your dumb ass down, man, because you can tie a bow tie. He even going to say the motherfucker on The Godfather of Harlem, his bow tie wasn't tied right. It's like, motherfucker, it's a goddamn show, man. It's a show. When I tell y'all, listen, the Netflix documentary is called Who Killed Malcolm X? And it's in 6 parts. It took me about 2 days to watch it because I started late one day. I just saw it just popped up and I was like, what the fuck? And man, when I tell you I didn't tell you every single little detail that happened in there. When you see this shit, you're gonna see that these motherfuckers have no case. The NOI have to deal with this. They have no choice. They can't continue to lie in every interview. They just can't. But now I'm looking at y'all's comments. If you have any questions or comments. Brother Dragback says, my only issue with the documentary was that they didn't really get into Pan-Africanism and black nationalism outside of the NOI's frame of reference. And they didn't. But you have to understand that if they're going to be making an entire documentary about the NOI, then they would have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have a choice but to frame it in that narrative, because that's what they was talking about. But we knew, you can watch it, you can tell that Malcolm was getting into that Pan-African shit. You can tell. You can tell that's what was going on. And that's what made him the biggest, that made him more powerful than he ever was with the NOI. That made him more powerful. And that was enough for me. I just need to see that little piece. That's all I needed, was to know that he was a bigger threat at that point. So that was, but I do understand what you're saying. But they had to frame it around, around him. BH Reloaded says Khalid Muhammad had that spirit as Malcolm X. And I heard, now I don't know whether this is true or not. Somebody was talking to me the other day. They sent me a message while I was talking about this. When they said that the NOI murdered Khalid Muhammad too. I don't know much about that. I don't know much surrounding the death of Khalid Muhammad, or the assassination, if this is true, of Khalid Muhammad. So I don't know. I do remember seeing something where Khalid Muhammad was very apologetic to Minister Farrakhan. He kind of looked to Minister Farrakhan like Malcolm X looked to Elijah Muhammad, which I don't see how that wouldn't be a mistake at this point. Like, these motherfuckers ain't real. But I did hear that the nation had something to do with him, with him being assassinated as well. I don't know if that's true. That's allegedly. I don't know much about that. Yeah, they did do, yeah. Let's break it down. The podcast says Farrakhan was in Newark at that mosque the day of the assassination. Why didn't they mention that? They left Farrakhan completely out. They actually did. And that's one thing that was confusing to me. Unless they're going to come out with another, I guess maybe another series or something. But the way it went off, you would think it was over. But they didn't deal with Farrakhan at all. So I don't know why they didn't do that. But I didn't need them to. I mean, I understand. You know what I'm saying? I understand based on just coming into it. I knew some already because I've been on their head about rolling out the red carpet, not protecting Brother Malcolm. I've been on their head about that. Anyway, even if they said a white man did it, motherfucker, y'all didn't protect him. And he built y'all up. There was no y'all, or there was no y'all without him. He built y'all up, so y'all should have protected. But they did leave Farrakhan out completely, and that was one of the issues I had with it as well. What's going on, Brother Dylan? Shout out to Brother Dylan in the house. Yeah, Jenny Virginia, it's worth to watch. I mean, it's worth to watch to give you, and then you'll be able to frame what these NOI members, as they make their excuses, if they make their excuses, it just doesn't make any sense. Stacey R says, Rob, how do you feel about Reza Islam? I mean, as I've said before, I think he's a smart brother. Reza Islam blocked me from his page a while back when I said something about Farrakhan laying up with Scientology and rolling out the red carpet for Malcolm X to be assassinated. Reza Islam blocked me on his Instagram page a while back. I never went back because I said, well, bitch, nigga, fuck you then. That's basically what my head thought. Like, if you supposed to be a smart brother, which I do think he's a smart brother, it's like, how are you not dealing with the truth of you? If you can tell the truth and expose everything else, but you won't expose the Nation of Islam, that's convenient, right? You can break down 10 to 15 years of history in 60 seconds. That motherfucker talk fast as hell, but he won't break down the NOI. What is that about? That's what it struck me. That strikes me as odd. So I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that at all. But we'll see if he actually says something about this documentary. I wanna see what they gonna say. Love Burton says, Rob, what's your overall valuable lesson you learned from the documentary? Never assume. What I learned from watching Malcolm X make a couple mistakes. One, fuck religion. That's one of the things that I took from it, most definitely. It's fuck religion completely. Well, but I already had that stance, so fuck religion even more so. Fuck any religion, because all of it does, all it does is fuck your mind up and it holds you back from growing. Malcolm X, I think, could have been a lot more effective if he'd had that if he'd let that bullshit go before the time that he saw that his leader was corrupt. But understand that when you are charismatic, understand that when you're charismatic and when you're a leader, even within your own organization, you're going to have you some motherfucking haters. And motherfuckers might seek to take you down completely. And then the main lesson, the most important lesson I learned from this is black people are the biggest threat to the government. Not in little secular groups, not in little sects, the black Christians and the black Israelites or the Nation of Islam or the, would be Moors. We ain't worth a fuck. We're not a threat to this government in these little groups. And I guess we can make the government's radar in these little groups. We can become black identity extremists in these little groups. But the biggest fear of this government is black people putting all their petty differences aside, their ideologies aside. I wish they would just realize, well, everything that all the religions that we do is bullshit. But I wish they would put all that shit aside and understand that we are our most powerful together. And that's what I took from it the most, because I say that all the time. Me seeing this, it kind of solidified that even more so for me. Because that's when Malcolm was his biggest threat to the establishment. That's when I knew they had to do something. Surveilling him wasn't enough. We got to take him the fuck up out of here. Because now he's doing too much. He don't need our permission to go talk to world leaders. They're just inviting him to come talk. He can just sit with goddamn world leaders and talk. No, we can't have that shit. That power alone, it just solidifies what I believe already. And that's why I'm going to keep banging this motherfucking drum. And I don't believe... I don't believe that, I think that when I'm banging this drum, and people are going to be mad at me for banging this drum, they're going to tell me it's unrealistic. I don't give a fuck what anybody's saying about this. I see, based on studying this government, when black people, any black person is, when we are our most powerful. I see that. And I don't need to go to a religious text to read that. I can see that in history. I can see that. So that's going to be the drum that I beat on. I don't have a choice. Because any other way, we're ineffective. We're ineffective. And that's just, and I understand that everybody has their own ways and their own ideas, but you're like, nah, fuck that. I see what makes us the threat. I see why they have to come out here and say, I watch what they did to the Black Panther Party. I watched even more so. I doubled down on watching what they did to Brother Malcolm X. I'm watching this shit. I'm seeing when they're scared. And actually, Netflix has a great documentary about the Black Panther Party. Some of you may remember when I watched that, when I talked about that. It's like, man, we are our most powerful when we together, man. Like man, woman, on the front lines, got our kids like this, everybody like that. That's when we are the biggest threat. That's what they scared of. So, to me, that's the drum that's the only one that matters to be beaten, really. That we set aside all these petty differences and just, get to work. Get to doing the work. Poetic Sounds, that's a good point. It says Farrakhan was not an important enough, I think he meant in. Farrakhan was not in an important enough, Farrakhan was not an important enough piece for that particular time period. I feel you. We know Farrakhan now after they killed Malcolm, which is why Farrakhan didn't have no issue with them killing Malcolm, because that would help him get his motherfucking boost up. Because if Malcolm was here, Farrakhan wouldn't be worth a fuck, wouldn't be worth a damn. Wouldn't nobody be knowing about that motherfucker. He was transcending religion into Pan-Africanism and exposing the system. Because, again, Malcolm had that political mindset, too. And they didn't really want him talking about politics because they didn't want to make politicians mad. They didn't want to make the cops mad. That's what the NOI, that's how much of a bitch made they was. They didn't want to make them mad. They didn't want to call no real smoke with the government like that. They didn't want to call no real smoke with the government like that. Blaze High says, I'm happy they didn't touch his family. I'm happy too, but hell, if they firebombed this goddamn house, they could have killed him and his whole family then. So I mean, you know, I guess I can give them not shooting down Betty Shabazz and get the kids, but hell, they try to fire that firebomb could have took him and his whole family out then. Really? Indigenous King says the documentary didn't mention the guy that the government killed that took him on the tour meeting world leaders right around the same time they killed Malcolm. That's tough. Because this man, this one man, his documentary, it didn't do everything. Again, if you've been putting this stuff together the whole time, somebody else said something about young Pharaoh, Port Arthur. But if you've been piecing this stuff together the whole time, see, I didn't even know that. Do you remember his name by chance? The guy that they killed that took him on those tours? I didn't even know that myself. Port Arthur says young Pharaoh called it out first. I don't know about that. That's a little... I don't know. I was here before young Pharaoh even got here, so I can't really say that. And I've been told motherfuckers that the Nation of Islam ain't worth a fuck, and they are responsible for being complacent in the murder of Malcolm X. So I don't know. Somebody told me I need to watch. Young Pharaoh did something called Malcolm X's Revenge or something like that. Somebody was telling me I need to watch that, but I'm like, I didn't necessarily need to watch that because I've been on this block. I done got been banging with the NOI. I've been banging on the NOI since before I would be young Pharaoh was even out here. I've been saying the same shit. So, but no disrespect to him and what he's done and whatever work he's put in. But no, I've been on this shit because all you gotta do is study COINTELPRO. Like, if you just study COINTELPRO, what it'll show you, if you just study that alone, read through those documents alone, it'll show you how they systematically went through here and killed, assassinated, and broke up groups, leaders, black leaders. It'll show you all of that shit. It'll show you everything. Yeah, Stacey R., his grandson did get killed down in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was an assassination hit. I made a video about that when that happened. Again, the motherfuckers just don't be caring, man. I done been on this motherfucker going in for years and years and years, and it's like nobody be caring about what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, that's not me. Cry me a river, nigga, But I ain't crying, but I'm just saying, like, I talked about that shit. Nobody cared. Don't nobody give a fuck what I be talking about. They assassinated his grandson because his grandson had his fist up a little bit. And all his grandson had to do was have his fist up a little bit. They don't want no parts. They don't want no parts, like even a piece. A piece. They don't want no parts. Ream the Dream, YP knocking their heads off. Yeah, I've seen some of young Pharaoh stuff. I mean, he be going in. I never saw the whatever he did about Malcolm X, but I know that he does give the Nation of Islam a hard time because that motherfucker be having goddamn PowerPoint slides and shit. That motherfucker be going in on their head. He be going at their head. And they don't have a whole lot to say to the brother. They don't have a whole lot to say to that dude. Other than, he cussed too much and shit, little stupid shit like that. But man, he be going in. Right, I'm gonna tell you what's odd, Stacey R. What's odd is that his daughters don't bang harder. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you think, I don't know, I guess I can only say this because I'm not in that situation, but I guess in my mind, if I know the government done knocked off my dad, had any parts of knocking off my dad, I studied COINTELPRO, and he had, I think, 5 daughters. We bang. Like, I would hope that, for my dad, you know what I'm saying? I bang on the NOI, I bang on the motherfucking government, I just bang at all times. Maybe they paid him off to be quiet and kind of be controlled opposition too, but man, like, I'm sure they didn't though. Stacey R says they didn't want to end up like their dad, but god damn, man. I'm banging. Abdul says Farrakhan was suspect just looking at the condition of that Chicago was in. And also, the NOI never supported Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers, and I never understood why. The same reason they didn't support Malcolm X. The Black Panther Party was saying, fuck the pig. Fuck him. Fuck the pig. Fuck the government. That's what the Black Panther Party was on. And the Black Panther Party was also a Pan-African movement. Yeah. It seems like, and this is just, at least what I'm noticing, Pan-African movements scared the government. If the NOI, which I believe is just a controlled opposition organization, their religion on the surface, controlled opposition underneath that surface, then what they do doesn't really put no fear in the government, because you gotta be down with the nation to be with the nation. There's no Pan-African movement. They're not trying to bring black people together all over the world. No, they want you to be Muslim. Bean pie, my brother. Let me come bring to you the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, Allah, like 5 times a day, nigga. You think I'm about to lay down 5 times a day and beg? And a man that was praying 5 times a day was shot down? Hell no. Allah ain't protect one of his greatest soldiers. And man, you better get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Praying out that many times a day and you still don't get no protection? Nah, I ain't fucking with Allah like that. Nah, not me. I ain't that kind. It just don't make no sense. 5 times a day. Get your hand out my pocket. Shotgun to the chest. No. And the motherfuckers that did it. Yeah. And then, I'm going to tell you what's crazy too. Watching this man interview these older, nation motherfuckers up in New Jersey and shit like that, where they like, just drop it, let it go, and all this shit. Sucking Elijah Muhammad's dead dick. It's just like, y'all is sucking y'all sucking dead dick. That's that necrophiliac shit. That dick dead. And these old black men is sitting here like, how can y'all still be down when one of the greatest, it's almost like these motherfuckers was, even in their old age, they still hate. They still hating on Malcolm X because of how charismatic he was. Like, y'all still hating? Like he was just an old regular nobody. That shit just, man, I'm talking about, that shit made me so, to see these old black men treating Malcolm like he was just an old regular nigga on the street. Like, no, hell no. No, hell no, man. When this man went to New Jersey to talk to them motherfuckers up there, we need to just let it go, man. Like, it's in the past now. We gotta just let that go. You know what I'm saying? Allah gonna judge him in that. Like, man, what the fuck you talking about Allah? Y'all didn't wait on Allah for Malcolm X, motherfucker. If Allah was gonna deal with somebody, then why didn't you wait on him to deal with Malcolm X? Why the fuck did y'all send motherfuckers there to assassinate him? Talking about some goddamn Allah. The fuck out of here. Y'all ain't waiting on no goddamn Allah. Stop playing with me. If Allah deals his, whatever justice, y'all ain't waiting on Allah for Malcolm. Y'all should let Allah deal with him then. And then you have motherfuckers that would kind of allude to the fact, well, maybe that was Allah dealing with him. Hey, no, it won't. That was jealous nigga envy. Sucking Elijah Muhammad off because he got exposed. Boy. I don't think Malcolm X understood the mindset, man. I really don't think he understood the mindset of these people. I think him coming out and exposing Elijah Muhammad, he didn't really have to do that. He didn't really have to do that. But he thought it would be an effective move. He thought that. You know what I'm saying? Because when he got exposed, the Nation of Islam was like, huh? Yeah, that shit crazy. And that's it. They got more mad at Malcolm for saying anything. And even when they interviewed one of the guys that were here, the old informant that was with Elijah Muhammad, the FBI informant, his old ass, even when he was talking, he was like, well, did you know about Elijah Muhammad fucking with these young girls? He was like, yeah, everybody knew. Huh? And it's like, okay, you know, it's like, you know, that's how he said it. He's like, yeah, it's just, you know, that's nothing. I don't think Malcolm X understood that, though. I don't think he understood that don't nobody really give a fuck. It doesn't matter what the book says. He didn't understand that, and I wish he would have understood that. That they didn't give a fuck. Right, exactly, Jasby. Nothing wrong with it. They was like, man, shit, he getting pussy, saved my life, so shit, he can, you know, he can be a pedophile if he want to. He led me to the light. And it's like, okay. Yeah, I saw the Indigenous King says, Rob, did you catch the fact that the dude who died, that shot the shotgun was connected to city leaders in Newark? Hell yeah, they interviewed Cory Booker, and it was a black woman there who may be the mayor of the city now. It's like she knew him. He was a community leader, and they kind of hoisted this man up like he was a fucking hero in Newark. After killing one of the greatest black men that ever lived, he was a hero in Newark. And they like, well, I heard that he may have did it, but it was just urban legend. What? You got innocent black men in prison for this. Ruined a black man's life. This man say he can't even connect with his kids and grandkids. Ruin his life, and y'all let that shit ride. Come on, man. They knew that shit was that, man. They knew what the fuck was going on, man. Beautiful says, Rob, you have to understand, in Islam, they don't care about age. Well, if Islam is going to come out here and, you know, basically be okay with pedophilia, then their members need to stop getting on videos acting like they have a problem with pedophilia. I mean, I don't give a fuck what the Nation of Islam believe in. But you saying, I have to understand it. No, I don't have to understand it. Malcolm should have understood it. He the one made the mistake of thinking that they gave a fuck. I don't have to understand shit. I don't fuck with the Nation of Islam at all. Don't fuck with that religion at all. Malcolm should have understood that. Didn't nobody come tell him like, yo, we doing young girls over here, cuz. Maybe nobody didn't tell Malcolm. I don't know. He should have understood that. But I know when I hear them talking about on these videos, they damn sure don't say shit like, yo, we in the young pussy over here, cuz. They don't say that. They do that little chanting and shit. I know. I seen the video of them little chanting. Like, man, y'all fucking with young hoes, man. Cut that shit out. Like, don't nobody want to hear this song you talking about. Y'all fucking with young hoes. Stop it. Stop it. Fucking with young girls. Talking about some goddamn money. Like, nigga, who you fooling with that bullshit? Not me. Is that how you get them? Is that the song? That your little Pied Piper song, motherfucker? Is that how you get them? Fuck out of here, man. I can't rock with that shit, man. I can't. Y'all stop. Listen. Y'all don't laugh. Don't laugh. Because I done told y'all laughing at me means that you are just as fucked up as me. And I don't want y'all to be as fucked up as I am. I'm trying to help make y'all a better people. My shit's still a little bit, it's bad off. It really is. It's bad off. But even with the guy that did the documentary, watching him be a Muslim after he sees, like, this shit is trash, bruh. It's all trash. You should be denouncing this shit. denouncing Allah, denouncing Elijah Muhammad, denouncing all that shit. Like, come on. Put it down, bro. It ain't real. Govern yourself. It's like motherfuckers need somebody governing them. Like, govern yourself. Create a code of ethics for yourself. Stand on your square yourself. You don't need nobody fucking, come on, man. He teaching that shit to his son. Even when I'm watching him in there doing when they show some of their prayers and shit, you got these little young kids in there doing the shit. And it's like, man, that's how it's passed down. These kids don't have no damn choice. Okay, Naja Denise says, one of the NOI members actually responded to the documentary, but he hurried up and erased it. I wonder what he said. Do you remember what he said? Did he say there was validity in this shit? That there's validity in this shit? Or did he try to act like none of this shit was real? Chanel Madison says, in Africa, the Muslim men marry girls as young as 15 years old. This is their tradition. You should look up some of the child marriage laws for here in the U.S. I made a video about that, and guess what? Nobody cared. Don't nobody be giving a fuck. You should look at some of the child marriage laws here in the U.S. I made a video about it. I posted about it a couple times on my Instagram. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. The laws here in the United States are supposed to be, some superpower. Like, no. These motherfuckers are nasty. They nasty and they sick. The motherfucker that made these laws. They sick. Don't nobody be giving a fuck. America got some child marriage laws that's pretty bad. It'll beg you to wonder, how the fuck do we get to sit around on this high horse, act like we better than everybody, and we still got laws on record that are savage. Exactly. Naja, exactly. Look, said it was really, really long, but he was just saying that the white people try to make the NOI look bad. Exactly. That's all they gonna say. The white man out here like, y'all with them. Stop fucking playing with me, man. Naja Denise said, and they trying to divide black people. Like, motherfuckers, look, man. Come on. Saying that the NOI ain't worth a damn ain't dividing nobody. Ain't nobody divided on that. Even if you still gonna read or be, with the program or whatever, you can at least come out and tell the goddamn truth. That's just like saying, say you're a Christian and you at a church and you following somebody that's a fucking hypocrite and you realize they're a hypocrite. You can still practice your Christianity, but that don't mean you gotta follow a fucking hypocrite or be a part of a hypocrite organization. You don't have to do that. And these NOI motherfuckers they're not about to get off with that shit. The white man is trying to make me look like no, motherfucker, y'all making yourself look like that. Y'all make yourself look like that. Yeah, some of y'all know about the child marriage laws here in America. Because what started me looking into it was I saw something from overseas. And it was these girls that was forced into these marriages. Overseas, these motherfuckers giving their little 11-year-old daughters up for a cow and some trinkets. It's just like a cow and some trinkets, and they'll let a grown-ass man come, essentially marry and rape their daughter every day. And a lot of little girls is dying and shit from that shit too. Getting pregnant, dying during childbirth because they too young. Their little bodies ain't big enough yet to have no kids. And I saw that, and I'm sitting here shaking my motherfucking head like these motherfuckers are sick as hell. And that's caused me to do some research. And then I had to look at America like, God damn, even we sick as hell. Well, not we sick, because that's that. Malcolm actually did a speech about that. Now we not sick. These motherfuckers are sick as hell. American motherfuckers ain't no better. That's what I started when I saw that. That shit broke my heart. Like, god damn. And these little girls trying to escape that shit. And it's a part of their, will be culture, tradition. It's like, your motherfucker come give you a goat and a goddamn quilt made out of some silk, and he get to have your daughter, my nigga? Like, nah. I couldn't see it. I couldn't even see being born into some shit like that and it being okay. Like, nah, fuck that. Because traditions aren't everything. That's one of the messages I try to tell black people a lot of times too. Tradition don't mean shit. To me, I don't give a fuck what the tradition is. There's a lot of traditions that, we're supposed to follow that's some bullshit. And we need to put that shit down. It's some shit just ain't right. It don't feel right. And that's why when these motherfuckers talk about being righteous, it's like, who's governing you? You're all religious, but then who's governing you? Because you're going to follow traditions even if it doesn't make any sense. Almost like Christians with their cannibalism ritual that they do of eating the body and drinking the blood of Christ. Like, at some point, some stuff just don't make no sense. And you have to see it for what it is. Like, no, that ain't right. And I'm godless, but I ain't giving my daughter up for no goddamn goat. I don't give a damn. No, you're not doing that. No, we not doing that. You should be able to see what's righteous in yourself. I don't need no book to tell me not to rape nobody. I don't want to. I don't want to rape nobody. I don't need to feel as though, oh God, boy, if it wasn't for you, I would be raping all these hoes. No. I don't want to. Murder kids. Kidnap kids. All this shit that motherfuckers out there. I don't want to. I don't need to feel like I'm going to go to hell for it. I just don't want to. So I don't, again, it's people with religion, they almost act like without this, I'm going to smoke crack and even I'm going to suck some dick for the crack. I'm going to do it all. But if I feel like somebody watching me or looking down on me, then I'm going to put the crack down. Like, bitch, your teeth are gone. Like, put it down for your teeth. Your teeth are gone. Stand in front of a mirror. Like, I don't be understanding these motherfuckers, man. I don't need that type of conviction to, make me not do shit that don't make no sense. Your teeth are in your hand. Like, if I can do this with my teeth, and I know it's The Rock, if the heron got me out here doing wild shit, it's like, you needed a religion to tell you not to smoke rocks? Like, what the fuck? Where's your self-conviction? Where is that? What you doing with it? You never sucked dick before, remember? You wasn't even sucking dick. Now you would do it for a hit. That ain't enough? You need the book of Psalms? Like, Proverbs is what got you through? I mean, I don't understand it fully. Y'all see? Y'all, wow, but you see some of these motherfuckers and you like, what? No, man. No. No. Y'all said something wrong with me, but y'all laughing and shit. So I'm just saying, that's just my anti-hard drug. Not weed, of course, but my anti-hard drug is the fact that you could just see a crackhead and or somebody's on heroin and just be like, no. I saw a documentary one time, a motherfucker was shooting heroin in their eye because they wanted to get high faster. I don't need somebody to come tell me what 1st and 2nd Corinthians say. I'm off course. I'm completely off course. It don't make sense to me. But that's just me. Many people need religion to not do wild shit. I don't need it. And I do feel like if Malcolm would have been able to continue on his path, I do believe with the mind that he had, he would have looked into Islam and the religion and where it came from. And he may have put that shit down. He may have put it down. It would have started not making sense to him, at least after a while. After a while, really, if you practicing religions, it's like, after a while, this shit don't make no sense. All the books have their anti-black rhetoric, all of them, anti-woman rhetoric, all of them, and they contradict themselves, all of them. All of them do this. So after a while, it was so long you can let this shit rock, like, yo, you gotta get the fuck out of here with this bullshit, yo. Torrin Brown, you wild. Torrin say, you remind me of DJ Quick. The only thing DJ Quick ever gave in my lifetime that I can respect is that motherfucker had a song that the hook went, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's the only contribution DJ Quick has ever made to my life at all, in any type of way. DJ Quick was not pro-black. So I don't know how. I remind you of DJ Quick. And I think he had long hair too and a perm, if I'm not mistaken. But if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's what DJ Quick had said. That could be written in the Bible somewhere. That could be the first commandment, actually, if we're going to be doing commandments. Because I feel like they should adjust to the times. And if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That could be a commandment of some sort, You start like a new Bible or something like that. I don't know. This is true. Trinity Supreme Power says some people need to feel anchored to something. Maybe it's also an addiction. Well, the reason people need to feel anchored to something is because that's what our parents taught us. We wouldn't need to be anchored to anything but our blackness and our liberation if that's what our parents taught us. But they're not teaching us that. They're teaching us religion instead. So that's, that's what that is. It's just, we wouldn't need to be anchored if we ever anchored ourselves in self, in our people, in our history, in our struggle. If we anchored ourselves in that, people wouldn't need religion to be anchored in. But if you're being taught by your parents that you ain't worth a fuck. Matter of fact, this food that you about to eat came from the almighty Allah. Everything you're doing is in Jesus' name. If you're doing that, then of course you're going to need something to be anchored in because somebody done told you that you not enough. You a wretched sinner. That's all you are, and that's all you're going to ever be without some deity. You a wretched sinner. You ain't worth a fuck. You was born into sin. You ain't shit. But with Jesus, it's like, okay. You give your life to Allah, you can come through this thing now. You got to pray more, but, Super Intellectual Mafia says the Black Panthers were slaughtered as they had no religious protection. Fools. What? Now, see, that's tough. That's a tough one for me to deal with because what religion has protected anyone? I guess I would want to know what that one is. What religion is that? I respected the Black Panthers because they wasn't sitting around talking about no damn God. They was talking about going to buy some guns to protect themselves. But what religion do you know of, super intellectual, is protecting somebody? I want to know what religion, or anybody else could take this question. I mean, anybody that can answer it. What religion is just protecting its people? I want to know which one that is, because if you can tell me which one that is, I might sign up for the motherfuckers right now. I'll give my life right now. You tell me which religion is protecting somebody from the inevitable, that shit happens. And fucked up shit happens. as well. So just let me know. I'll give you a second. Beautiful, that's a lie. Voodoo ain't never protected a people. That's not true. I mean, I understand that voodoo is the preferred, African spirituality, but even African spirituality ain't never protected nobody. That's just the truth. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. Super Intellectual says Allah protects his own. When they stray, they are out of that protection. Ain't that convenient? I know there are people right now who don't stray, haven't strayed, still dying from cancer. Now, I'm sure you're going to come up with, I'm sure you're going to come up with something for that. But how do you explain these people who are dying? Praying 5 times a day. Stage 4. Did they went overseas and walked around that big ass building they got over there. I skipped around it, sung with everybody. Got the little rug with them, taking their shoes off, getting on their knees 5 times a day. Stage 4. I don't know. It's interesting. Dying in car accidents. It's interesting. Amiri, that's a good question. It's a good question. Amiri Watson says, how can you explain a baby being harmed? They don't even have the ability to pray yet. Do they deserve it? It's their parents. That's what they say. I've asked these types of questions before. They'll say that their parents did something. So they got washed in the game, basically. There's an explanation for everything with religion. There's a divine purpose and a cause. Even you'll have people that will say shit like, well, God wanted this person to come home. I mean, you had people saying that about your boy Kobe and his daughter. God wanted them home. He was trying to build an Olympic team up in heaven. They didn't say that last part. But apparently, the jumpers is off up there. They need somebody like Kobe to come hoop. I mean, I really don't know. But I think that with religion, people say anything. And if you really, really think about, especially when we're dealing with heaven, and I posed this question, no religious people really answered me. Even the Hebrew Israelites set this one out. It was that if the Bible and what the Bible is saying is true, then there are no people in heaven or hell. Heaven and hell both are empty places, because according to the Bible, no one will be judged and sent one way or another until the rapture. Until Jesus come down here and judge everybody. I pose that, little religious brain fuck I try to do to people, and nobody really dealt with it. It was, But we still say people up in heaven. We still sit around acting like that. But, it's just an interesting thing, man. I don't believe in shit. Tiffany D. Coates, I don't believe in anything. And nothing drives my spirit other than the fact that, I'm here. I live on this planet. I have children to take care of. And I know that the color of skin that I was born in is oppressed as fuck, and my people asleep as hell. That's what drives me. I don't believe in anything, and that makes people a little uncomfortable. But as you can see, I'm waking up like y'all, and there's a motherfucker praying 5-10 times a day. There's somebody going to church every week. That they are suffering. They are suffering from terminal diseases and things like that. And I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm okay. And Jika Walker says Harriet Tubman and the Black Panther Party read the Holy Bible. I'll give you Harriet Tubman, but the Black Panther Party, I'm not. That's something you didn't throw out there. That's something you done threw out there. And don't call the Bible holy. That's a programming that you've received. There's nothing holy about the Bible. Nothing holy about it. The man that wrote it ain't worth a damn. The character that's in it is stolen and mythological. There's nothing holy about the Bible at all. At all. And I think black people would be better off just putting that shit down and getting to work. Honestly, that's what I believe in. Linda Galloway says if you don't believe in God or the devil, you have to know what's evil and good in the world. Well, I know that I don't use the word evil because it's I think that evil kind of denotes devil. I think there's fucked up shit that happened, and I think there's okay shit that happened, and I think there's amazing things that happened. So you got from a realm of the spectrum, you got fucked up. You got fucked all the way up, then fucked up, then okay, and then you have miracles or that idea that these great things are happening, like somebody who is saved or healed from having stage 4 cancer. But I think it happens at random. I don't know if there's a plan or it goes by how much this person prayed or this person's participation in the religion or anything like that. I don't believe in that part. There is shit out here going on at all times. That's all it is to it. But y'all, I am about to get off here though. I want to show my love for everybody who came, spend some time with me. And again, if you haven't watched this 6-part documentary, I really advise you to do so. It can show you some shit, put you up on some game. You'll understand what the fuck took place here. You'll understand exactly what took place here. And it just blows my mind. It really does. And I want to see when the NOI comes out and deal with it. I'm going to come back in here because I want to see what the fuck they talking about. I really do. I want to see what they're talking about and see if they're going to be real about what the fuck's going on here. Or are they going to continue to lie and make excuses like they have been since I've been paying attention to or studying or walking in this light? I want to see what they're going to do. I really do. But they're not worth a fuck. They're not worth a fuck, in my personal opinion. But we'll see what they actually do. But I do, again, this is on Netflix. It's called Who Killed Malcolm X. Y'all check it out. And if you get a chance to, after you watch it, you can come, leave the comments in the video. Let me know what you saw when you watched it. Did it make you as mad as it made me? Did it make you motherfucking hot? Because again, I'm clenching my motherfucking jaw the whole time. Because it's just like, how the fuck could these motherfuckers sit around here and do this shit? And the way that they did it and the way that they set it up, how could they do that? How could they do that to such a great brother? You know what I'm saying? But y'all, check it out. Let me know what y'all think. Leave your opinions or whatever in the comment section. Y'all like the video, share the video. Y'all know I'm in here. I'm banging. We be 1, 2, 3 out this motherfucker. We need layers. We need layers of protection. And at some point, we're going to have to come together, y'all. That's the only way we're going to get shit done. That's the only way we're going to be a threat to the system, like Brother Malcolm was, and so many other of our great brothers and sisters have been throughout history. That's the only way we're going to be a threat, is to come together as a people, y'all. Whether you like it or not, that's the only way. You can have whatever belief you want to have, but Pan-Africanism needs to be in underneath your banner or veil. It needs to be in there, because that's when we're our biggest threat to this establishment. So, mad love. Shout out Team Rob. Y'all already know what the fuck it is. I'll see y'all next time. I'm out.